and Zeke's frozen.
You know, if I was really mean, I would have just sat perfectly still.
Yeah, just like
Zeke almost was there. He was almost perfectly still. It would have worked. It could have worked, but he didn't goof me. Anyways, welcome to Court of Swords. We're back after last week's kerfuffle, and we're working. It's seems to be good. For those in the know, we're at 4 ms render time right now, and that's good. As long as we stay under 20, that's really good. Because once we go above 20, that's when everything goes to shit. Also, we should note that Zeke's currently not in his house. He's at a casting couch somewhere in LA. And it was a weird birthday present we got him, but that's where he's currently at.
I was gonna make that joke beforehand, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna say it. There's enough stress right now.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Man,
really
I wish
look
I
like
could
that, doesn't it?
hear you guys.
Yeah, so it sounds like he's gonna have some wireless issues this entire episode, which is gonna kind of suck. We'll figure those out in real time together. That's how it's gonna go. But before we get to that, start with Mr. Adam Coble. Adam, how you been?
That's
what
me.
you been up to?
Dude, I all I got is Far Verona on the brain right now. I had to actively go back and be like, okay, get all that stuff out of your head. Just read the Court of Swords notes. You're playing Dungeons and Dragons today. Just get back to the thing, because I'm so excited. We did our series 2 session 0 this morning, and I'm super hyped. It's gonna be so fun, and it's all I can think about. Other than that, I mean, it's business as usual for me. I've just been taking pictures and playing Magic and doing RPG stuff. There's a new, and I was going to mention this to you earlier, JP, but then I looked at it and I don't think there's anything you'd be interested in. There's a new D&D adventure thing that came out today.
I did see that. Yeah,
and
the rats.
Yeah,
or
Saltmarsh.
Like oh no, Saltmarsh.
Yeah, it's called Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and it's I'm gonna do a fuller thing on my channel where we go through all of it, but it's basically just 5 or 6 semi-connected adventures that are all set in the same place. They're all set in Saltmarsh, which is cool because the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh was a really fun old adventure, and it's neat that they updated that. They updated a bunch more, and I guess if you like Innsmouth, or you have a thing for shark people, then it might be your jam, or you're really interested in boats in your D&D game, then it might be cool. But it didn't have any great new monsters. There's no new classes, the kind of the guts of a supplement that we always go looking for when we first get it. So as an adventure, I don't know, maybe it's good, but doesn't really have any of the other things. But if you like that stuff, or you're interested in those things, then you're good to go. And then we got a release date for the other new adventure, the big one for this year, which is Descent. God, their adventure titles are getting so fucking long. The full title is Dungeons and Dragons: Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus. And I guess it's a big adventure about hell, which is nice. It's always nice seeing D&D go back to its roots.
Yeah, that's like a YouTube video name for us.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. Court of Swords, episode 112. Season 2, part 4. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know anything about that yet. It has some connection to Baldur's Gate, set in the Forgotten Realms. None of that is all that interesting. But there'll probably be a bunch more cool demon types. If you already play a tiefling, I bet you're going to get a bunch more tiefling options. But yeah, I'm just really excited to see Dungeons and Dragons finally coming back and acknowledging the thing about D&D that really matters, Satan. Because without Satan, D&D is pointless. So yeah, true. I'm interested in that, but it's it's we're in the D&D equivalent of we've seen the E3 trailers, but there's no actual gameplay yet, so we all just kind of have to wait, and you have to hail Satan in your own way, chat.
Don't you always?
For now, we'll see.
Don't you always?
Yeah, I mean, I think every family has their own way of hailing Satan. You learned it from your mom, and your mom learned it from her mom, and passed down from generation to generation. We're a goat sacrificing family, where I come from. Right. But other people might be blood drinkers, church burners, whatever. Whatever works for you. I'm not going to judge the way that you worship the Dark Lord.
It's true.
But if you want the true magic, you got to let Satan in.
Okay.
So all right. I'm happy to see that.
Mr. GassyMexican, you burn any churches lately? How you celebrating Satan today?
I like to just, sit by the computer and then do this sort of thing and be like, hey.
Yeah.
Just a conversating with Satan.
He doesn't answer ever.
Yeah.
Man, I want to start a podcast now just called Conversating, and we just talk about the devil. That is clever as fuck, JP.
Pretty good name.
I'm writing that one down. Conversating.
Caller, you're on. It's me. The one who dwells. Hello. What are you gonna say?
Oh man, that's just making me feel old because now all I can think about is Blink 182 and their live album where they play as if they're Satan on the stage and talk to the crowd. It's man, what a dumb album that was. Anyways, let's not get into Blink 182's impersonation of Satan anymore. Max, what else you been up to besides making funny voices? What do you do
that's
anything?
kind of it.
I was
besides-
just that you've described Max's life. That's
Yeah,
Max in a
kinda my life.
nutshell.
Yeah.
Fuck, what even happened the last time? Ooh. Crown apple.
Zeke has finally turned into alcohol. His life. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Trying to think of what the hell
Opposite.
I've been doing. I think I played a little more Sea of Thieves. I
Yeah.
think. Last night I played Mario Party and sang a little bit, slightly drunk, not that bad.
That's
Out of
good.
respect for this show,
Uh-huh.
I didn't go too hard. Also,
Nice.
everybody was kind of sleepy, kind of pittered out a little earlier, but that's always fun. Fuck, I don't even know what games other than that I was playing. There's definitely something. What new games came out? Rage. I played Rage, more of that. How do you like Rage, by the way? Just real quick, because I know you played it, and then you probably ended up hitting a wall or something. You kept playing.
I was fighting,
Maybe not, I don't
I guess, the boss at the space station tower thing.
ahead of
I was
me.
playing on the hardest difficulty.
Wait, no,
and
I remember that.
I literally ran out of bullets. There was no way for me to harm the boss anymore, and so I had to just die.
Oh no.
And I was like,
Wow.
I'm good. I don't need to play this game. I'm done with this
Well,
game.
the thing is, you put it on the hardest difficulty. You stupid. What are you doing? Who you
Yeah,
trying?
but
What are you
that-
trying to prove?
That's not a peg against me. That's a peg against the game. They should balance all their difficulties.
Is it possible that you were bad?
I mean, bullets hit.
Did every
they
shot
connected.
miss, or did every shot hit? JP?
Max,
'Cause
it's
when you
pretty
run out of
hard to
ammo-
miss in that game. The fucking spray is the size of like a pea a mile out, no matter what gun you're shooting.
Yeah, I can imagine that fight being really difficult. But that's the reason why I don't put it up on those difficulties, like those super bullet sponge ones, because your bullets just mean nothing, and then you run out of ammo like that. It's
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, I mean, the other thing is that I think if you quote rush to that boss, i.e., ignore a lot of the open world stuff. I got to that
Yeah.
boss with 3 weapons, so the idea that if you had, 3 or you had, I think 5 of the other weapons that existed,
then you'd have more.
You'd have more damage and be able to actually kill him because like he died with literally a splinter left, and I couldn't do anything. I just had to sit
Wow.
there and take the hits.
Did you have the rocket launcher yet?
Nope, I had the shotgun, the pistol, and the
Yeah.
AR. I went very early.
I think
Rocket
that's what
launcher annihilates everything.
Okay, I did not even get to that point.
Just saying, I beat it with 3 guns, also on normal difficulty, but I beat it with 3 guns.
Yeah.
So I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it makes
Those
sense.
games I've stopped being like, I'm gonna put it on the fucking hardest difficulty, unless it's something I've beaten before, where I'm like Mass Effect, I'll play on whatever hardest difficulty I have. It's fine. I know that game in and out. Like,
Yeah.
but for first time playthrough, I don't really fuck with hardest difficulty.
Yeah, it was definitely the point of like, well, I could knock the difficulty down 1, but am I having fun? No, I'm not. Let's go play a better game.
It just every part of that game is the same. It just gets repetitive after a while.
I know
Right.
it would
Every
eventually
fight
get like
is
that.
just like every other fight. It's sort of like Just Cause in that way, where there's not enough variety in what you're doing to keep you interested for too long. Like the
Right.
gunplay is really fun and tight, but it's not a corridor shooter, so it's not like fast paced like Doom.
Right.
It's a weird mix of open world and then that combat.
I really wish that game was not an open world game. I think it would have been so much better because the combat is the best part of that game, but you're driving around so fucking much that you never actually get into any combat. It's like, I don't know. I found it like boring when I wasn't fighting stuff, and I had to do so much traveling to get to places with nothing happening to go see a cutscene where you can listen to some person just drone on and on and on about a not interesting story to begin with. So, yeah.
So Mentioning the open world thing reminded me that I read on Twitter a thing that I'm not sure how seriously we should take this, but I wanted to get your opinion on it. So there was a rumor floating around that George R.R. Martin is working with From Software on an open world game.
Yep.
Because he mentioned recently he was like, "Oh, I've been working with a Japanese game developer," and then From said they have this internal project called GR, and now everybody's like, Miyazaki and George R.R. Martin are making a game together.
Yeah, that's supposed to be shown at the Microsoft press conference.
Yeah.
At E3. And it's supposed to. It has to do with horse travel, like horses. It's an open world, like horse traveling game made by the Dark Souls devs with George R.R. Martin consulting.
Yeah.
I don't know what that game looks like, but I'm curious. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess we'll see.
So that's I guess that's a real thing.
So you think?
I don't know.
You think that's what it is?
I feel like media happens so fast. Like it comes out, people have a big reaction, and then 2 days later, nobody even remembers that it exists. Like I saw somebody talking about the finale to Game of Thrones, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a couple of days ago. But it's already back. Like I'm like, nope, it's done. Moving on. What's the next thing? Did you find a show, JP? Did you find a show to watch to fill that void?
I'm a little bit embarrassed to say what show that I've been watching, so I don't know if we want to have this conversation.
Let's talk about Chernobyl instead. How good is fucking Chernobyl? How good is that show?
It's once you get past the fact that everyone's somehow British and Soviet Russia, it's really good. I've not watched episode 3 yet. That came out last night, I think.
Dude.
I've heard it's really good.
Dude. It's like when Game of Thrones tries to be like intense and dark and like harsh or whatever, you watch Chernobyl, you're like, oh, okay, whatever. Game of Thrones, nice try, I guess. But yeah, the most recent episode is very good.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that maybe tonight. We have this weird thing. Aaron's been watching, I call it Downtown Abbey because it just pisses everyone off who watches that show.
Downtown Arby's. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, Zeke's coming to us in HD. Zeke,
Whoa.
you've done it. You're crystal clear.
Can you hear me?
We can. Oh my God, you're beautiful.
Keep the zoom going forever into your eyes.
Yeah, just keep going. Just hold the zoom. Just keep. You're not. No, that you're moving forward. The zoom is supposed to come toward. There you go.
Yes.
Now we're talking about
Yes,
Satan.
my child, you've done it.
Praise Satan. Praise him.
Yeah. Sorry about that, everybody. I had to hook up to the big PC, and my buddy Sour Kool-Aid show, his shit is held together with duct tape and gum and spit and hope and God's willing.
It's all good. I appreciate
A lot better
you.
though. You look nice and smooth.
Yeah, you're giving us some strong bit rates. We're in the 2Ks right now. Ooh,
So his Wi-Fi is shit, but his wired is good.
great. Glad
Hail
to hear
Satan.
it. Glad to hear it.
Hail Satan.
Yeah.
Hail Satan.
No, she's been watching Downton Abbey, and then when she's done watching that, or is like, you can change it if you want, then I'll put on Lucifer or Chernobyl. So it's really just a huge culture.
You know,
clash right
honestly though, I don't know that it's that different. Like as far as like terrifying effects, yes, the Chernobyl meltdown was significant, but also like hundreds and hundreds of years of classism. That's also pretty like abhorrent and terrifying. So I think
That's
Downton
true, yeah.
Abbey's just about as bad. They're just way better at making it look nice. You can't really be like Chernobyl and everyone's fine and it's great, but yeah.
You
it can
you
see
find
that
yourself, JP, like trying to attempt like a British accent.
now.
Or
No,
is
I can't. I don't even mess with that, man. I did a Scottish accent for 3 seconds in a one shot ages ago, and it was one of the most humiliating times of my life. And never again. Even the character after that point was like, "No, this guy's not Irish. That was just a joke. He was messing with you." So I have not attempted one of those in public or private. I just don't, Max. I just don't mess around with it. Can you do a good British accent? Where are you at? Yeah.
The way I am with like especially accents, I don't, and even voices, like I can do a lot of them, but very rarely will I just on the spot attempt one because I'm very picky about that shit, and I don't want to be like. Sometimes I'll do it if I just like I don't care in the mood, but No,
Yeah.
most of the time I'd imagine
That's
yes.
why you think Max is so amazing at all the accents he does, is because he never reveals them until they're pretty close to perfect.
Right.
That's
right.
that's very true.
Yeah, that's probably
The
true.
illusion is that I'm good at all of them.
That's probably true. Yeah. Every once in a while, I'll just like break out a Peaky Blinders moment and just scream by order of the Peaky Blinders, and that gets the cats startled and stuff, and that's fun.
Nice.
But apart from that, no, there's no really British accents at all. So
There was something I was gonna say. I can't. Fuck. It was.
I don't
know. John Wick. Did you guys see it?
I have not gone and seen it yet. Is it? I know it's probably worth seeing, right? It's probably pretty good. Okay. Dan, did you see John Wick? I know you're out there in the movie world, making the movies or something.
If you enjoyed the first two, you'll love it because it's all the same stuff, but even more awesome.
I heard there's a knife fight that's really good.
Yeah,
There's
that's
a
kind of how it
thousand knife
starts.
fights, but yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah.
That's what I like to hear.
Listen,
Let's go.
And there's like
show
the
canceled.
knife fight.
Yeah, there's surprisingly not a lot of guns. It's mostly knife fights throughout the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, technically, they're called swords or katanas. Okay.
Oh. They go a little bit longer than the normal knife. Okay.
Well, there's
Well,
like a,
technically,
there's like a
technically,
squad
Max, the
running around.
plural of katana is katana, not katanas. So,
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
if we're gonna play this game, I brought my wakizashi, motherfucker.
Whoa.
I humbly ask your apology.
No forgiveness, Ken Watanabe. Put it away.
Jesus. What movie was he in? Oh, he was in the Pokemon's movie. That's right. Anyways.
He was in the Pokemon's movie.
Yeah.
Pokemans.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
John Wick has some amazing animal choreography fights in it. It's great.
I've heard,
Nice.
I guess I won't say. If you've seen the trailer, you kind of know who Dan's talking about. But I've heard that stuff is really good. She apparently... No, I'm kind of spoiling it. They apparently trained with those dogs for like 6 or 7 months before they ever even got to the movie. Which
Yeah, that
makes sense.
pretty incredible.
Very
shows.
impressive scene.
It shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to go see it.
It was pretty crazy.
Aaron's not a big John Wick fan, so I have to saddle up and go to the theater by myself. So
Yeah.
it's too far
It's
away.
not so bad though. Sometimes
Well, I don't mind it. It's just I don't want to drive as far away as we have to go.
we've talked about that before. I don't mind. People get weird when you say you go to the movie theater by yourself.
That's
I'm
their
not-
own
depending on who you talk
insecurities.
about.
though.
Why?
I'm not weird about
No,
it.
I mean like normal, society or whatever. Like
Them-
amongst us,
them
I don't think any of
normies?
us here would be
Is that
like,
what you're saying?
you dummy.
Among the norms.
What are you supposed to do when you want to go see a movie, no one else does, and the only way to see it is fucking movie theater. Like
Yeah.
it's only there.
Just go and sit next to a group of people who are already sitting next to each other, like sitting together, and just pretend you're with them. And just
They
like
don't know. No one
when they
knows.
laugh at stuff, elbow them and be like, yeah, I love this guy. And just do that and pretend. And then they'll move away from you, I guess. But yeah,
Yeah, I need to go see it.
go by yourself. Fuck it.
Yeah.
John Wick 3, good.
Yeah.
Also, the knife scene that they're talking about, it opens with that, so you're gonna.
Okay. And all right.
Ends with a knife.
Yeah, it is. They are not playing in that first one.
Gotcha. Noted. Dan, what have you been up to besides John Wicken and you've been Skyrimming it up?
No, wait, John Wicken is a whole other movie where he turns his back on the Lord and becomes a disciple of Satan. I'd watch that. I'd watch John Wicken in a fucking second.
Yeah, be good.
Jonathan, what have you done?
Today on Conversating, it's John Wicken. Yeah, Constantine is John Wicken.
I heard who was that? Was that
Damn.
Wheat that was telling us they're thinking of making a second one, or was that you, Adam?
Yeah, we were talking about it after the thing. Yeah, he wants to play Constantine again.
I think you should.
I
be
enjoyed
into it.
that movie. I would like another one.
It had a crazy fucking cast. Like Tilda Sweden was in there, and then whoever played God, or maybe it was Lucifer at the very end. He's also an incredible.
Oh
actor.
yeah, that dude.
Yeah, Lucifer.
Carl Hungus.
Yes. He's in the. And funny
whatever
enough, I believe that man is in the commercial with Dr. Disrespect here on Twitch, which is a weird thing.
Oh my god.
He's in the Call of Duty stuff. I think so. Anyways, Dan, how's the Skyrim world? You've been like deep in that.
Yeah, I love every couple of years modding it up. I don't like vanilla Skyrim, but I changed the game to be perfect for me by making it super brutal and awesome and fun. it's one of my favorite games modded is Skyrim, because the mod community for Elder Scrolls is so crazy.
Yes.
They make huge DLC side stuff. Like they recreated the top section of Oblivion, Bruma. I've been going through that area.
Huh.
They recreated the town. They're like, it's all NPCs, fully voiced with quest lines, and it's absolutely just amazing what they can do over the course. Like what's 8 years later, they're still giving life to this game from forever ago.
Yeah. It's a hell of a thing.
Yeah, it's fun to just go back and see what mods are new, and to go back and see all the new stuff because every few years there's always tons of new giant quest mods to do that make it unique every time you play it.
Yeah, in my Skyrim VR modding adventures, I found that the more sultry side of Skyrim really comes through in that
Oh
in
yeah.
that world.
I saw that. I
Yep.
saw that clip of you recoiling from that mod.
Yeah,
Well, it's
there's
yeah. Go ahead, Dan.
there's definitely some mods on there that are for people that were like, I like Skyrim, it's got dragons and bandits and stuff, but I just really need big dicks and hardcore sex. Like it's just not. I just
It's-
need that in my game to really be immersed.
It's not the fact that there's just mods for like, do you want them to have nude mods or not? It's that they go as far as when you're installing the mods, you can install cut, uncut, what type of pubes you
Yep.
want, what lack of
Yep.
pubes you want. Do you want freckles?
You haven't lived until you've played with that pube slider for a good 45
It's-
minutes.
I mean, these are like
More?
real choices
Less.
that they ask you in
It's
the mod
just-
stuff.
It cracks me up thinking about the modders spending like hours and hours
Yeah.
getting the vulva just right. Like
It's crazy.
Is my microphone
Sculpting
working?
it,
Yes.
starting over, like, oh damn, it's not. I gotta redo that.
Yeah, Zeke, it is.
Yeah, it is. Zeke.
Because I had to refresh the call because I have lots to say about penises and vulvas and stuff.
Yeah, there's
Don't leave me out of the
Moment
conversation,
gone.
guys.
that was a weird
The
thing.
moment's gone. Fuck it. Done.
It's a weird thing. Anyways,
Yeah.
I haven't returned to this. The other thing that sucks about modding Skyrim, and I'm sure you've run into this as well, but whenever those games update, all the mods potentially have the chance to just not work. And they've actually been patching, for some reason, Skyrim VR a lot, I guess with all the recent like VR headsets coming out. So I spent like 12 or 13 hours modding it, and now it's like, oh, you have to update. But apparently if you go and you use that update like SKSVR, whatever the fuck, SKSE doesn't work, which is the script extender, and like it just messes everything up. So I haven't touched it
Yeah.
since then. It's kind of trash.
Luckily, like the regular version hasn't changed in years, so that's pretty locked down.
Yeah, that's
But
good.
yeah, the VR is kind of new, so you go through that with every new Elder Scrolls game. Is every time you release a patch, everything breaks, and you have to raid again for new mods, and they fix them and they break again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I gotta
last
do that. I gotta ask you guys what mods are worth doing and all that. It's been a long time since I've done full on modded Skyrim.
there's a lot of choices there. You can really just follow
know.
a guide, and then once you get all that stuff installed, pick and choose whichever you want.
Is it still fairly? Do they still use like the whole Nexus mod thing and all that? Does it go through?
Yeah,
that?
there's like 2 or 3 different platforms you can use to mod it. I think Mod Organizer is like the best one, or the most customizable one, maybe is the best way to say that. I don't want to get into, I don't want the argument to start what's the best one. So I'm being very careful how I choose my words here.
I see.
Yeah. Yeah. So I will definitely ping you about that. Oh, nice. I'm getting an emergency alert that there's a tornado warning for the next 40 minutes here. So that's fun.
Woo.
We'll keep an eye on
Ooh,
that.
you thought you were gonna have a show today, but ooh, cheeky
Yeah.
little tornado.
I'm already in the basement, so if it comes, I'm just going to start running over there, and then you guys can see. I'll turn off the green screen, so if the wall goes, you'll just be able to see it in real time.
Dear Satan, please protect JP. We have to play Dungeons and Dragons today. Thank you.
We do. It's not even like, it's so weird. Anyways, Zeke, why don't you tell everyone where you're at and who suckered you into this casting couch? You're still muted.
Now you're muted. Yeah.
He's got the inline mute.
Good now?
Yep.
Yeah. There you go. Yep.
Sorry, I was eating. That's why I did that. No, I went. I'm visiting my buddy DP, who is of the Sour Kool-Aid show, and we've been friends since I don't know freshman year in high school, so a long, long time. And he used to do this thing back in the day with his Sour Kool-Aid show. Used to be two people. They would do these encounter tables, and they would have a list of 20 things that every hour they would roll a 20-sided dice to see what the next thing, that like weird, crazy, disgusting, wacko thing that they would do. And I wanted to do that for my birthday. So last night, that's what we did. And it was fucking crazy. It got a little messy, got real drunk out, and it was a lot of fun. Just for example, one of my favorite ones from last night was DP put on the list, DP makes Zeke a birthday cake. And I was like, yeah, he's going to make me a birthday cake. But in like reality, he made me into a birthday cake.
Yeah, I was going to say that's some classic like badly phrased wish spell, right? Like,
Yeah.
Genie, make me a sandwich. You're a sandwich.
Yep, you're a sandwich.
Yeah.
So he made me a birthday cake and put frosting and egg and flour and sugar and a candle, and he lit it and blew it out. And there's pictures on the internet if you want to look. But yeah, it was a fun birthday celebration.
Excuse me.
Now, why don't we all
that's
talk
good.
about how JP sucks while he's gone? Because he sucks. He's so bad.
Listen, the thing is, I'm totally in favor of talking shit about somebody when they're not here. It's the best time to do it. They can't defend themselves. You get that advantage against their feelings. But the thing is, okay, he's back now. Never mind. The thing is, if JP just never came back and he got sucked up to Oz, then it would have been real tragic. So you didn't want the last thing you said about JP to be.
How are the sirens?
I don't know if you guys can hear them. They're probably we have soundproofing on all the walls, so you guys probably won't be able to. I have a direct line though, so if the tornado starts coming,
You can see it. Is it real
As long as
green
it's coming
out?
from as long as it comes from that direction.
yeah. If it comes from that, I have and the walls entirely.
Yeah.
This way.
do?
We're great. It's doing great.
What
Now,
if,
hold
is
on.
it super
Are you
green out? You
saying-
getting some greenage?
Yeah. A little bit. Yeah. What was that, Zeke?
Are you saying you don't have like cameras positioned like around your
Actually,
house? So you can see?
I could actually look at the front door. Yeah.
That's
This
true.
is
You
great.
could use technology. Whoa.
I knew it. I
Thank
knew
you.
it.
Man,
You
you're
look at
coming
the front
in.
door. There's like a child that goes.
Yeah. So
I've been thinking I need to get like a camera for the front of my house, because there've been a couple of times now, including this morning, where like some randos that want to come and bug me for money will come to the house and ring the doorbell, and I have no window that I can like peer out of and see who it is. And I don't want it to be like if it's like my landlord or it's something important. I go to the door and I'm like, oh shit, it's religious people. And then they hassle me and I'm like, please leave me alone. And they're like, but you should give money. And I'm like, but I love Satan. And if I had a camera, I could just press the button and be like, two old ladies with clipboards. Not today. And I could just not worry about it. But
It's
yeah,
pretty nice.
I
No,
gotta
you
look
gotta
into
have-
that.
You got to get that Star Wars like globe on a stick that's like
Yeah, that would be so good.
Ichuta.
yeah.
I just need a
big.
big sign that says, I am gay and love the devil. Please do not bother me. And then they'll know. Then they can just turn around.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
answer
that
it that
thing.
way.
Exactly.
I don't think you can actually use any voice modifiers or anything on, at least on the ones that I know in terms of the doorbells.
That'd be cool. Someone needs to make one like that where you have like different things you can answer it with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Wizard of Oz, I get that guy. Well, come on in. That's a horse of a different color.
Jesus Christ. All right. The sirens have spun down, I think. I'll keep an eye on it. If you just see me randomly get up, that's why and where I'm going.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I gotcha. Coming to you live from our shelter.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll just drag the camera and the cable's long enough. We can just do it. It'll just be JP live from under the stairs. Really, really bleeding edge tech here. Before we move on to actual game stuff, we talked about this on the stream, but if you're watching this on YouTube, it doesn't really pertain to you much. But if you're watching here on Twitch, the extension is now available. So basically what that means is everyone can click on Max's face and it'll pop up his character sheet, and we can all look at Max's character sheet together and talk
Do it.
about all
Click
the
it.
things wrong
Click.
on it.
Yeah, so for players, don't write anything on your character sheet now that you don't want chat to be able to see,
That's true.
because they can now.
That's true.
So just be aware of that. So your character sheet is no
Also,
longer
Zeke, your
secret.
character sheet is not showing right now, so you don't have to worry about
Okay.
that. Yeah.
Chat, there's a secret message for you in my personality traits.
Yeah, yeah. And I will say there are also there are spoilers, so be careful what you're reading and like the bio and stuff like that of different characters. But you can see all of our inventory, all the different like little side stuff that we have, spell information, that type of stuff as well. So
I like this, but I also don't like this. They're gonna see how fucked up my character sheet is all the time.
look, we're all going to be better together, Max. That's all this is about.
What we
just
really
making
so
fun
the
of you.
real reason we did this is because we didn't think that there were enough vectors for people who know more about Dungeons and Dragons than we do to tell us that we're playing it wrong. So this is a new way for people to really get a good look at the character sheet and see exactly the ways in which everybody's fucking up, both on a strategic and a tactical level. So enjoy. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's possible that it didn't.
We've
update.
made
You guys
made the
got-
back seat as big and as comfortable as we can make it. Right? There's
do I,
snacks back there now. Just hop in.
Yeah.
How do I? I'm interested in seeing the character sheets, JP. How do I see the character sheets?
Well, Max, if you go to twitch.tv/itmeJP during a live airing of Court of Swords and future any role play show, you can just click above someone's face in their little window and it'll pop it up.
Yeah.
It's still very alpha. Any
It's
bugs?
pretty rudimentary for now, but
Yeah, any bugs, let Barry know. He's monitoring in the chat. And yeah, there's still a bunch of other stuff that we have to come. Zeke, you won't be able to see yours at all until I activate some stuff.
No, I'm trying to see anybody's.
You gotta have extensions on, and you gotta
extensions
probably
on,
full
try
screen.
full screening. Yeah, full screen, and then if you hover, you get a box that says
I'm gonna test something.
name of
real
the person.
quick.
You can
Yeah.
click on.
There's also
my
things
HP
too
to-
where if you guys want to, I don't know how fast it updates. That's something if you want to test that.
Yeah, I don't think it does because I did have a secret message for chat and personality traits. And when you see it, guys, if you do see it, just post it in the chat. That's cool though.
Yeah, so we're going to be adding to that over time. But with all that said, we should probably, for the first time, since last week didn't happen at all, play some Court of Swords and let Adam go through this whole intro again. And this time I'll actually listen
Yeah.
to it instead of just silently panicking, unless the tornado comes back. And then I might still be silently panicking. But we'll see. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, do we want to? I was gonna say, do we want to run the recap, or do you want to just jump right into the?
Oh shit, that's right. We have the
beginning of
recap. Yeah, let me run
got
the
the
recap.
recap.
Here. Let me do this. I'm gonna hit this.
Do you want to
one.
use the
Previously
thing that you VO'd for?
on Court of Swords.
There we go.
The party unknowingly arrives in the marketplace opposite one another, just as a group of divine comedy goons emerge, looking for the king's lost toy. They spot Yotazo despite a pretty solid attempt to disguise himself, and while he tries to run for it, the rest of the party remains hidden. Battle ensues, and just as the last of the goons is dispatched, including a poor jester inflicted with more status conditions than I think we've ever seen at once, a cloud of blood drifts over the rooftops and congeals into the terrible giant form of a judge. Shit gets real. Everyone starts going blind or getting knocked flat out. Berg, of course, is the last man standing. Maharib, Yotazo, and Amira are all slain. When Berg finally falls, the judge leaves. Ramus awakens an hour later to find his pockets being rifled through by some vagabonds. He sees Berg and heals him enough to wake him, and the two lament being alive. Alone again, fate casting their friends into the fire. They head to Miss Tippett's, but they're cut off by more of the comedy's soldiers. They flee for Aorta's workshop. Inside, Aorta tells them he knows the truth, and he can help them return to their world if they only promise to take him with them. Ramus demands Aorta help, threatening the influence of the powerful Mara who made Ramus how he is. Aorta begins to consume them both, and they fight. Ramus is lost in the walls of Aorta's lair, and Berg, in a terrible rage, destroys the Fleshcrafter, delving deep into its heart and finishing him off, saving Ramus. The two leave with Aorta burning behind them, his network of puppets coming undone throughout the necropolis.
All right, there we go. That's what happened last time.
That's what happened last time. Previously
I'm
on.
scaring
So,
people. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
go ahead, Max. You have something to say there?
I understand that my secret message is available now.
Yes,
Great.
Yes, your secret message from Max available now.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, long time fans of the show will be happy to see that everyone's favorite character question mark has returned to the show. So good to see Big Q back for another episode.
Yep.
So yeah, I think so. We'll jump right into the kind of preamble. We talked a little bit about doing. We're gonna do goals twice today, and then from here forward, we'll do them at the end of the session instead of at the beginning. So we'll reward for the previous goals and then change them. So in this session, so that you can have goals, we'll do them at the beginning, but we'll introduce everything first, and then everyone can decide what their goals are going to be. So carrying on from the end of the last episode, we see a familiar scene. There is a charnel scene of bloodshed and murder. We see the market square abandoned of all living creatures, strewn now instead with bodies, predominantly those of the Necropolis Opportunities citizens who happened to be in the wrong place, the wrong time when the judge came looking for its prey. So we see all of these corpses. We get a nice slow pan, quiet soundtrack. All of the bodies lying sort of bloodless in the street. Everyone is pale. There's no clear sign of trauma on any of these many of these bodies. And we pass across a pair of armored figures slumped over by a tent. The owner of the stall slumped over. Their wares knocked out into the street. We see a jester lying face down next to an overturned cart. And as we continue to pan across, we see there's obviously been some kind of battle here. There are further soldiers in service to the Divine Comedy who have been bludgeoned, slashed, and pierced to death, and they lie strewn about the ground. And then we see Maharib and Amira's dead bodies lying bloodless in the street. As we continue to pan across, we see finally lying kind of halfway inside one of these nearby buildings, we see the body of Yota Zo. And when we linger on Yota, we hear the sound of carriage wheels rolling to a stop, and we pull back to see the page of the Divine Comedy, this enormous hulk, and he is pulling behind him a carriage on which sits the queen, who looks frustrated, but like he looks like somebody who is on his way to do something more important than this and isn't phased by the corpses at all. And then the side of the carriage opens, and from it we see, dressed in a fine lace and satin dress, we see the young girl who is the king of the Divine Comedy. She steps out and gingerly steps over some of the dead bodies and strolls towards Yota Zo's corpse. She stops in front of the corpse and looks down at it and sort of quirks an eyebrow and looks back at the brute pulling the wagon and says to the page, "Take this one back." And she looks down at Yota's body and says, "I won't lose you again, Mr. Tusky. Not this time." And she turns, and as she does, we see appear before her, congealing out of the air, solidifying from seemingly nothing. First, a cloud of blood, and then the bruised purple flesh of the judge in its enormous muscular form. The judge looks down with a stern face at the king, who says, "Wasn't there supposed to be more of them?" She looks past the judge at Maharib and the body of Amira, and she says, "Well, little matter. Find the other two. These ones?" And she just points the direction. She says, "Take them to the basilica." The judge nods, though we see on his face grudging servitude. It's clear that the judge doesn't act on the king's whim simply because that's what is done, right? He agrees to do what he's told, but there's a frustration on his face. But as commanded, he turns and begins assembling the corpses. We see the page lift Yota Zo's body, and you know, Yoda he's a big Gaja, so with a little bit of effort, lifts him up, takes him over to the carriage, throws him on the back. the queen makes a face as if worried that Yota's body is going to drip some fluid on him, and then the group of them leave in the carriage. We crossfade from that scene to sometime later. We see a group of what I can only really describe as like Gregorian monks. They have black robes, heavy silver or platinum chains around their necks, shaved heads, and they are loading corpses from a wagon into a basement. And in the basement of wherever it is that they are, we can see it's lit by these juice-powered bulbs. So there's a faint greenish light down here. We see that the basement has tables laid out, and at a glance, it's hard to tell if this is a morgue or a mortuary or some kind of ritual space. But the monks move with a deference towards the dead, and they place them out on these stone slabs, and we see among these bodies Maharib and Amira, who are now dressed as with the other bodies in simple clothes that look like something that you might bury someone in, like simple linen clothes. And so they're laid out on these things among all the other dead. We see the knights, we see the jester, all the soldiers that were murdered in the battle. We see them all laid out in this place. The monks, once they're finished their job, they shuffle away, and we are left with this room full of corpses. And slowly, over time, we see some of them start to awaken. Some of them awaken with a shout of surprise. Some of them slowly return. Some seem confused. And as the group, one at a time, begins to awaken from their death-induced slumber, they start to speak with each other. And those who remember what happened let the others know. And eventually, they begin to make their way out. We are left with a room in which there's maybe a half dozen of these bodies, including Amira and Maharib. And it seems for a moment that no more awakening will come from these bodies, that these are some who have given up the cycle of Void's resurrection. And then just at the moment where you think it's all over, we see Amira leap to her feet. She gets up with a scream, throws her arms wide as if fighting an invisible foe, and after a moment, breathing hard, drool kind of dripping off of her chin, she realizes where she is and what's going on. And as she calms, we see her gaze fall on Maharib. She says something in Giant, but we don't understand it because we don't have Maharib as a point of view to translate for us. There's no subtitles for this. So she says something. She rushes over to Maharib and shakes him. He doesn't awaken. She shakes him harder. We can hear his head like hit the back of the stone plate that he's laying on. And she's shouting at him. You can see that she's getting upset. And when she realizes that he's not coming back on his own, that panic turns to determination, and she starts to look around. And we see that at the end of the sort of aisle of stone slabs, there is a cart, and on the cart there are various embalming fluids. There are tubes and instruments to which she rushes. And she grabs a tube, she grabs a couple of metal spikes, and she comes back to Maharib, and seeming this whole time like she's desperate to remember the protocols or the process for doing something that she only kind of half remembers from a dream or maybe a nightmare. She takes one end of this tube with spikes on the end of it and jams it into Maharib's arm. Maharib's body doesn't move. There's no evidence of life here. She takes the other end. She says something quietly to Maharib, either as an apology or a prayer, we'll never know, and jams the other end into her arm. And there is a moment, there's a pregnant pause, and then blood, dark red, so dark as to almost be black, begins to flow through the tube, out of Amira and into Maharib, where it slowly flows through Maharib's veins. She starts to get a little woozy, and she leans back and sits down on one of the slabs. The The room becomes a bit hazy. We see the bulbs go from sharp green lights to kind of fairy glow, like will-o-wisps, kind of hanging in the dark. And when she realizes that she can't give any more, Amira yanks the tube from her arm and throws it to the floor with a bloody clatter. Maharib is still not woken up. She comes over to the body and leans over, and she says something. And she says a name, shakes him again, and she starts to tear up. We can see that it hasn't worked, and she falls to the ground. She's on her knees, and we see her like sobbing into her hands. And Maharib, the sound of Amira's sobs is the first thing that you hear when you come back from wherever you've been. And for you, I think that awakening is like being drawn up out of a pool of like warm salt water. You feel this sort of smothering sense fade away from you, and you're aware that with it, there are things that go, right. You leave something behind as you return, but like how we can't know what we don't know. You can't put your finger on it. Whatever you've lost to the darkness, maybe you're not entirely aware of it, but you find yourself in this sepulcher, this dark place. There are sickly green bulbs hanging over you, and next to you there is a woman on her knees, sobbing into her hands, her dark horns curling back from her hair. What do you do?
I think like first reaction is just a like deep breath, because I haven't breathed since I died, literally. And kind of disregarding the fact that she's even there. I'm finding myself blinking a lot. It's really bright in here.
Yeah. And we probably see it from your perspective, and everything is like super high contrast. And there's this like eerie whining sound. This would be a very irritating shot to see in a movie, but it only lasts a moment before we cut back to seeing the two of you. Yeah.
Right. I think I turn and Amira? Is it? I'm kind of have my eyes squinting the entire time. It's still too bright. I'm reaching out. Is that you?
Yeah. So she hears you, and she looks up, and she turns, and her face is streaked not only with like the blood from the battle, but streaks of clean, like dark blue skin from her tears. And she looks at you, and she shouts just some like wordless sound and throws herself at you. And the two of you fall backwards off of the slab and onto the floor. And she's hugging you like tight to her chest and sobbing. And we can understand her now because we have you to pass through. She's just sobbing about like, I thought I lost you. I didn't think it would work. I tried to remember. And and she's just like burying her face in your shoulder. You can feel the like press of her horn against the side of your face.
Right. Do I still have the needle in my arm, or has it been? She already took it
No,
out?
I think actually, you know what? It's just hanging out of your arm because she took it out of hers.
Right.
But it's still still like a tube sticking out of your arm.
I think as she like throws herself at me, my arms go up, and I kind of see the needle hanging there, and very quickly put two and two together. But I think unknowingly and without thought, the next words out of my mouth are an infernal. And it's just simply like, how long have I been out? Did I die?
So hearing you speak those words, there's clearly something that happens when your lips form this strange sound. It triggers something in Amira, and we hear again that kind of like whining sound or whatever. It becomes louder, and we hear strange voices kind of wrapped around it. There's a moment where both of you are, for a moment, stunned. She grabs her head as if in pain, and then the pain like fades, and she says to you in Infernal, "What did you say?"
just continuing as if it's completely normal.
Yeah, the two of you have both switched languages, but
Yeah,
it seems
yeah.
normal to you.
When did I died? Is that what happened?
She nods. We both did, and you both look around the room, and she says, "But we got better. That huge bastard. I'd never seen anything like that before, though." And you can see her, and then she kind of like chuckles. I guess even if I had, I wouldn't remember. Did you recognize him?
Do I have not perfect recall, but do I recall exactly what happened in that fight? Am I coherent enough? to
Yes.
understand? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, he was there when we first tried to enter the city. I think I see Yoda's body, right? Like it's in this room.
No,
it's not at all?
Yoda's body. You look around and you don't recognize. I mean, so this is the thing. We get this flash where you look around, and you're like, what do I remember? You see a soldier, and you remember murdering that soldier with your sword. Though I think in the vision, when you remember, you see the soldier, and we see you swing something, but in your hands, in the memory, it's blurry and like a cloud of shadows. You can't place the object that you're using. Whatever it is, you killed that person with it, but you can't remember it.
Okay. Where are the others? And I think I start like rummaging through the bodies to see if I can find like Ramus's body, Berg's body, and
Yeah. You don't see it. No.
Do you know what happened to them? Are they dead?
She shakes her head kind of helplessly. She looks around and she says, but I think I recognize this place. It's a resting house for the dead, a place where corpses are gathered to be brought back to life. But, and she looks at, there's like 2 or 3 other bodies that haven't returned. I think we should get out of here.
The second she says that, the like warrior mentality kicks in, and I start to do like a collection of what is on my person, what's my immediate surroundings, and I start to realize like I don't have I don't know where Bahath is, and I start to like look around. Our gear, where would they take the gear? The sword.
Yeah, she actually, I think, like Amira is like looking around now that you're looking around too. So she's moved away from you and she's digging around, and she's like, I think here, and she points, and there's a stone chest that she's opening, and there's a bunch of stuff in it. She looks at it and she kind of shrugs. She's like, I don't recognize any of this.
Okay, yeah, I walk over and look at it with my own eyes.
Yeah, you see a few things. You see a book that is familiar to you. You see like your backpack, some things that were brought here from that were on you. Probably any of the clothes that you were wearing have been thrown out. The armor that you were wearing was ruined by the fight. But yeah, there's still some things that belong to you.
Okay.
What do you take?
I mean, I'll take anything that's there that belonged to me. So my inventory, the journal. I think I picked that up and closed my eyes for a second and nod, of course, and put that in my bag. Mm-hmm. If there's any gold pieces or anything, the remaining, unless they might, I don't know. That's up to you.
I think they wouldn't. I mean, they wouldn't recognize gold, right? They would just be like, "What is this?" And they'd just leave it. Like no one would have taken it because it's not coin of this realm.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I take all that and start to get dressed, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and try to do like a site survey to see what's in this immediate area or this immediate room.
Yeah, there's a clear exit from this place. You see a stone archway with a set of stairs that go up.
Okay. Yeah, I still adjusting to the fact that I can now see in the dark, basically. And I think as I'm like reaching down to grab all the gear and I take out the needle in my arm finally, I start to realize that like I don't have any scars anymore anywhere on my body.
Yeah. And this is where we get the like the slow pan over you where we can see what's different. And yeah, it is like you've been remade.
Yeah. And I think one of my eyes too has had, where it was a bright crimson red, has had seemingly like the color drained out. It's kind of mixed and fluid at the bottom of one of the eyes, and the other eyes is still a crimson red. But apart from that, like, there's no more scars, which I think my body was riddled with, and we just never really saw it because I always had armor on. That's all gone, and my skin tone's a little bit more blue than it once was. But I don't think that's super apparent because it's still dark, so I can't really make out the shift just yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I equip all that stuff, basically. Are you ready? We should leave. Find the others if they're still alive.
Yeah, you look over and you see Amira, and she's at another chest, like grabbing stuff, though it may or may not be her stuff. And she nods and she holds something out and she says, Maharib, and like holds this out. And in her hands, you see like just a hunk of metal, basically. It's like just like a big, ugly, pitted sword that looks like dull in her hands. And she's holding it out to you like, here, like this is, but it's like there's something repugnant about it. Like something about it just, you have no use for this thing.
Okay. I go to grab it. Anything just feels like a lump of metal.
Yeah, you move to take it from her, and you feel again that strange like repulsion. And she's looking at you like, what's your problem? Like as you approach, but you feel like a bile in the back of your throat.
I'll find another weapon. You use that one. I'm sure there's one from the bodies here upstairs.
And she nods slowly, but is giving you a look like something's not right about that boy. And when we see you turn to go, she's holding it, and we see her look down at the sword. We follow her vision, and it doesn't look like that to us or to her. We see a familiar implement. We see Bahath, the sword that Maharib carried before. And she kind of scowls and then hefts it up onto her back, kind of straps the scabbard across her chest, and then dashes off after you as you head up the stairs. So, Zeke, your character watches all of this happen. Are you watching from the shadows, or are you elsewhere viewing this scene remotely by magic?
Honestly, I think I would be there in the shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we don't see you, but you watch all of this happen, and this would be the part where like the first chords of your new character like theme would come into the soundtrack. We linger just a moment, and it's clear to you that these two will lead you to the others from that other place, and that they can get you what you want. It's just a question of keeping an eye on them. Do you follow?
Yes, but
Mm-hmm.
1 second here. Okay. I was checking to see if I could get someone or something else to follow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think I'll definitely follow them myself. And keep trying, not get noticed yet.
Yeah, that's very easy for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were watching these two because you needed to confirm a rumor, and it has been confirmed now that that these two are connected to the ones you were looking for. So
Yes.
yeah, so we see the shadows shift slightly, and then a presence follows after Maharib and Amira. So meanwhile, Ramus and Berg, you have emerged from the burning, now horribly destroyed former layer of the once influential Where Is My Aorta? The two of you are covered in bits of flesh, slightly burned. It's a Tuesday for these two. So you come outside, and there are people like just gathered around staring at you like, oh God, what have you done? What's going on? Like this is a big deal. They're looking at you like you're bank robbers or arsonists or something. So what do you do? Where do you go?
Away, Adam.
Yeah, where to?
There.
That's not specific enough. You need to give me some more information.
I mean, I imagine we want to get away from here as quickly as possible, just on the basis that obviously the whole city knows about this, so the judge will as well, and they'll probably logically go to where they know Aorta would be. So that's my thinking as a player.
Could be, yep.
My thinking as Berg is,
I really should have shit on Aorta before delivering the final blow.
I don't know what to do now. I needed something to relieve my anger on. Now I feel better, but
in the background, there's literally like a smoldering crater, and we see some burning chunk of flesh like bubble and a pop, and it's very clear your anger has been routed upon this thing.
Well, it's gone now, and we should go to.
Yes, we
Judge.
need to.
We'll be coming here.
Need a place to hide and rest. We're both on death's door. But where?
I don't know. You got around for a while by yourself. Know anyone that might stow us, even for a night?
We'd have to pay. But someone took my wallet. I was down.
Berg looks around at the crowd. Does he see anybody with a coin purse that he can just grab?
Everyone is terrified of you, and when you look up, like the first person you look at runs, like just runs in terror. But yeah, I mean, people probably have money. You kind of need it to live and exist.
Berg just points at somebody like,
you. Give coin.
Make an intimidate check. Say DC 10. Okay, so it's not that you're not intimidating. They just scream at the top of their lungs and run away. And I think everybody, like that loud scream sets everybody else like, oh God, and they all start scattering away from you.
Well, I tried something. Your turn.
Maybe we can climb in the backside of Miss Tippett's, the broken window. Need a ladder or something.
Won't they look for us there?
They're watching the front, not the back.
Or like squints at you.
That alleyway was very secluded. There was nothing back there. We could just climb in the window. We could rest there for a while.
This is not smart, but we do not have much other choices.
Oh, you have a
Fine.
better. You have another place to sleep in mind? I'm all ears.
How do you feel about sleeping on the guts of what you just killed? I'm joking. Let's go.
Okay.
Okay, so the plan is to stay out of
Hold on a second.
sight. Yeah.
Just remembering that me and Dan are dumb. And we plan on exploring the tunnels below.
Yeah, so maybe that occurs to Berg. Like, wait, there are tunnels. So yeah, go ahead, Berg. You have that thought.
Okay. I just didn't know how we want.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we start walking, and Berg's like,
Yeah.
Wait. Ramos. Down below, there are tunnels. Large. Don't know where they go. But all under the city. Looked like. Might be better. Risky. But at least out of sight.
That's true. We know the evil's up here, but we don't know what's down there. Could be worse, could be better. We might be able to find this place to rest down there, for all we know. It could be a nook.
Or even cranny.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You always find them together. It's never one or the other.
the nooks and the crannies.
Unless it's a
Never
breakfast
before.
nook.
That's true.
Then you can find it alone.
I like the nooks.
But not a
I like
standard
the
nook.
crannies.
Yeah, I don't think there's such thing as a breakfast cranny.
Yeah.
Well,
Then
we can at
Berg,
least
like walks
try.
over to walks over to like the hole, looks at you, and then just goes, "Oop." Jumps down.
Yeah. You want to go back down into the I was gonna say flesh tunnels, the former flesh tunnels.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I kind of want to like make note in my head the direction that Miss Tippets is. So if the tunnels head in that direction,
So you want to kind of try to head that way? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a survival check. One of the two make the check. The other can give advantage as you navigate the tunnel. So you descend down into the darkness. Ramus, you like cast a light spell to shine your way through, and begin making your way through these tunnels towards what you believe to be Miss Tippets. Nice, you got 23. Good. Okay. So with that 23 in mind, yeah, Ramus, you can find your way down there. The whole place is like infrastructurally equal parts like former tunnel for various purposes, right? Interconnected cellars, that kind of thing, and then also burrowed out new tunnels in the dirt. There is everywhere swiftly decomposing bits of aorta's kind of network of tendrils and threads. So we're seeing veins and muscle fiber that is slowly kind of like peeling away and dying now that the heart is dead. So the body is sort of falling apart. The place is distressing and certainly disturbing, but there is no one else and nothing else down here. You find your way to an area of tunnels that you think should lead you up to the vicinity of Miss Tippets.
So if my calculations are right, her place is somewhere around here. I carried the one. I did the angle correctly. It should be somewhere in this vicinity. I'll have to peek and see. There's got to be a door around here or somewhere going up. I think they're all connected.
Yeah, I mean, there's a stone nearby, like you're in a kind of a junction, and there's a stone ladder that leads up to a like a door on the ceiling, a trap door.
Remus, I don't know what calculation is. Is it magic?
It's a great and powerful spell that you may never be able to cast yourself.
Did it work?
Kind of magic in and of itself.
You're fairly sure then we're under Miss Tibbets.
We're pretty close. How about you?
Yeah,
go
you
up
can.
there?
Yeah, somebody can climb up and open that door and confirm.
Is it like a hatch kind of thing? Or
Yeah. There's like a set of doors, kind of like you know, some, like especially in the like eastern parts of the states, some businesses will have cellars that are accessible to the sidewalk with those kind of like lift up like doors. It's like one of those.
okay. And Bird goes and climbs up to carefully look.
Yeah, take a look. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. So you push it open, and what you see at ground level, so you can see across the street. You see from here two figures. One of them is wearing like heeled boots and a dress. You can't see, they're blocked by like an overhang, so you can't see all of them, but you see like from the knees down. So you see a black dress and like leather boots. And then you see a pair of leather sandals and that bruised purple colored skin. But it seems like it's in like human size, not giant size. And you can, if you strain, you can kind of make out like they're talking.
So it's the judge talking to Miss Tibbet.
Maybe. Do you want to keep it open and try to make a perception check to eavesdrop?
Yeah, I'll try to eavesdrop. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So make that perception check. Oof. But guy rolled a 1 with a +3. That makes 4. You have no idea what they're talking about. There's enough ambient noise from the street that you can't pick out.
Okay. I guess I'll cut my losses here and go back down. Go back next to Ramus.
Yeah.
I saw black dress. What looked also to be that judge, but smaller, more regular size. Could not hear anything. Too loud. Too much going on.
You saw the judge in a dress? What?
No, he was talking to someone in a black dress.
The judge was spinning around in circles, singing "I Feel Pretty," "I'm So Pretty," etc.
Hold on. I guess I climb up there and peek it open and try to.
Okay. Yeah, you take a look. There's no one around. Coast is clear.
I just gotta double check, like whereabouts does it look like I am? If there are any like markers I can see.
If you got it figured out, you're like you said, you're at the back. There is another entrance to Miss Tibbet's, so you can, if you pop up here and you make a beeline for it, you're good to go. You could get in the back door as long as it's not like locked.
Okay. I climb back down. There's nobody up there. What are you talking about? But I see the
know what
door
I
to Miss
saw.
Tibbet's.
If they're not there now, they were.
Well, the coast is clear for now. If we go up there and quickly run, we could probably get to the back door.
We want to go up there. Why not sleep down here?
Well, we could.
Unless
Just
we think they look through the tunnels from where we killed Aorta.
that's always a possibility. They could start search, but there's so many of them. I don't know how they would know where we went.
True. I say, sleep here.
We want to sleep
Less
here.
to worry about.
That's all right. Fine. We can at least rest until we can maybe darkness and then sneak into the Miss Tippets when it's later. You want to try to rest here? We can try, but I don't like the smell of this decaying corpse all around us.
Yeah, I mean, how many levels of exhaustion do you both have? Berg has 4.
Yeah.
Chat, did you know that you can answer this question yourself? All you got to do is just go into the extension and just click on their character sheet, and you can find out how many levels. Of
How
exhaustion
many
they have.
levels of exhaustion do you see on the sheet?
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot to tell everybody I'm taking my new DMing trick from Blue's Clues. So we're gonna get all kids show in here. All right, chat. If you believe in Berg. All right. So yeah, you've got 4, right? And Ramus, how many do you have? 2? 3?
4 as well.
4 as well.
Both
yeah.
4.
So you're both exhausted. Okay. So yeah, is it try to stay here, or is it push on and do the thing? Because you're so close to Miss Tippets.
A thought occurs.
Mm.
Or looks at Ramus.
Wait, do you have any of the drink stuff? Juice?
Oh, do you mean the liquor that they... I don't have anything like that with me, no.
Shit.
If you're going to rest, we'll have to get the Miss Tippets.
Well, then I
Room is
guess
paid
we've
for
decided.
another day.
Let's go.
Okay, so you're gonna, what is it? You're gonna just like dash for the door? Are you gonna sneak over there, Ramus? It feels like you're in charge.
He's in point. So
Let's see, 1 second. I think I will try to first. I'm going to cast a spell to try to spy on the alleyway with the scrying spell.
Ah, okay, cool. So
Just
get
make
like
sure
a
that-
third person like overhead view.
Just to make sure there's nothing like hidden up there that we can't see, or like an ambush or a trap waiting for us.
Okay.
So I'll make my religion check.
Yeah,
Disadvantage. I'm exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
9. Nope.
9. If you didn't have disadvantage, if you weren't exhausted, God could hear you, but you're too tired for the gods.
Yeah.
Your prayer goes unanswered.
Like, I think I'm just like, I'm getting all this stuff, and like I can't even get through the chants. It's just I'm just like slurring my words. Like it's just not coming out. Like I can tell, like I'm not, the words are just not there. It's just not happening. And then just so tired. Like, Berg, I can't do this. We just have to try. Let's just run for the door.
you-
If we
So Berg, you haven't. There's this moment here while Ramus is speaking, right, where you haven't seen Ramus like this in a while, right? Like there was a time, and for a long time, where you watched your friend slowly disintegrate, and this is kind of reminding you of actually how like fragile he is, right? You know you could take an axe to the face and be okay, but you're seeing Ramus in a moment of like pretty heavy weakness right now.
It's okay, Remus. I'll lead. Can go. We both need to rest.
Yes. Sleep. It'd be nice.
Not yet. Wake up.
He like gives him a little shove.
A little slap in the face. Come on, man. Yeah.
All right. I'll be right after you. Let's go.
All right. Ready?
Hurry up and go through.
No.
I don't want your butt in my face.
Yeah, the two of you are like climbing the ladder, and he stops. Like,
Try to scamper across.
okay, and you're gonna run for it. Pop the door and run for the door.
Little
Okay.
old school
All right.
cartoon
So
scampering noises.
Yeah, so you open the door and you set to run, and we cut to Maharib and Mira. So what's funny is that neither of you have really been here before, right, Maharib? Like you're just in this weird void city. You're in this necropolis.
Yeah.
You've never been here before. Where do we see the two of you? Like, do you lead, or are you like letting Amira take you like somewhere? What's happening when we cut back to you?
I think at this particular point, like she's leading, but it's Mahrib's like prompting the questions, like, is this the correct way, or are we making the right decisions? Like you start to hear that type of conversation. Like he's not fully sure of himself anymore, but he's more democratic about his decisions.
What language are you speaking? Are you speaking?
I keep
Infernal,
going back
or
and
are you
forth.
speaking back and forth. Okay.
Between Infernal and Giant.
Okay. So Zeke, further confirming your suspicions, these two seem to share a language that. And how many languages do you speak? Like just on your own?
Let's see. It looks like just Common and Infernal.
Okay, so you definitely understand one of the languages that they're speaking, but they keep switching into this other weird language that you definitely are not familiar with. This strange, like, low rumbling, and you've never heard it spoken before, right? Like a person, even if somebody doesn't speak, French or German or Portuguese or Mandarin, you could probably take guesses like, oh, that sounds like they're speaking Mandarin, or there sounds like they're speaking German. Whatever noises they're making barely sounds like a language to you, but they keep switching between that and Infernal. So they're having this conversation. The other thing that seems important is that both of them seem totally just out of their element, lost. So Maharib, whenever you turn to Amira and are like, where should we go? She's like, fuck, I don't know. Like, I don't recognize this place. I have amnesia, remember? And now we're out in the middle of nowhere, and there's all these people, and people keep bumping into them and looking at them, and they're kind of making a scene without realizing they're doing it. So back with Maharib, that's Amira says to you, she's like, I don't know. We came here to find your friends, and now what are we gonna do?
I'm still trying to, like you said, completely discombobulated. We need. I need to rest. Do you have any idea where we're at right now? Anything resemble anything you would know?
Let's see if she remembers anything.
5.
Whoa, not with a 5, she doesn't. So she looks around, and again, you can see like tears of anger in her eyes. Like she's getting frustrated. Yeah, and she doesn't know. She's just like, I don't recognize any of these people or any of these streets or anything that's happened to us so far. I barely remembered that weird basement we woke up in, and now everybody's staring at us. And she's like, come on, and she like grabs your arm and pulls you into an alley, which of course Zeke brings them closer to you. What do you do, Maharib, when she pulls you into the alley? She's like, we gotta get our heads on straight. Where are we going? What's the plan?
I think I just start to like, I pace back and forth, and each time I turn around, I pace even further than I did the time prior. And I'm kind of silent, just grunting back and forth. I stop and just say, there has to be just an inn, somewhere we can sleep for the evening. They have inns here, yes? That is something that would exist.
I mean, people need a place to keep their stuff, but I don't know of any. I don't know where any of them are. Maybe we just go looking. We'll go back out into the street and we'll see if we can find someone who can understand us, and we'll just ask them and hope that they're not. Scowls.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Does this look like a place that I could like get their attention without getting the attention of like? Because he said they stepped into an alley or something.
Yes, yeah. She pulled Maharib into an alley. So right now, what you're looking at is two people who are, at least in part, still dressed like the dead. They're wearing the preparatory like reawakening garb of the basilica. So like basically, they look like crazy people who escaped from a mental institution. Like they might as well still have the hospital bracelet on, and they're just standing out in the street shouting. So people will try to take advantage of them. Even people who are like nice will be drawn to them. But by now, word has started to get out about these two weird tieflings, and it's only going to be a matter of time before this gets back to the people that are hunting them.
Wait a minute. Do you say two weird tieflings?
Yep.
They look like tieflings to you. I mean, this is the thing to you, like to anybody in the Court of the Void. We talked about this a little bit way back when. Maharib could pass as like a weird tiefling of Amara whose bloodline nobody recognizes. Yeah.
Okay.
You've seen tieflings that look like Amira before. You never really seen a tiefling that looks like Maharib, but he looks like a tiefling to you.
Okay.
Maybe a big voice, but I mean, obviously, you know that they're not from here, but you don't have the information to know what that means.
Okay. Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna do something. Fun here, hopefully.
Yeah.
I am going to. Let's see here. I'm going to do. Let me see here. There we go. I'm going to. Do you want me to like just reveal like mechanical shit, or should I like keep that as a?
I mean, eventually we're gonna need to stop teasing everybody. So if you have like an ability that you want to use, you can describe what it looks like in the universe if you want. Yeah.
That's what I'll do. So from like a little bit of a distance away, Maharib and Amira, is that what?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the name?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maharib and Amira both hear in their heads spoken in Infernal.
Mm-hmm.
This is a message. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. This is a message from a friend. Turn around. I can help you find the rest of your party if you just follow me, but keep your distance. You'll see a flashing if you turn around and look slightly to the left.
So when she hears that, Amira draws this big pitted hunk of metal, Maharib, and she like swings it emptily at the air, like, "Oh, what the hell?" and turns around as if there was like an enemy, but doesn't see anything. What do you do, Maharib, when you hear that voice?
try to like put my hand on the, not on the, but basically put my hand on her to like put the weapon down. And you said that was an infernal?
Yes.
Is that okay? Maybe that's the first time that I realized someone's actually speaking infernal to me, and I can understand it, even though it's been happening this entire time.
Right.
And I make the like conscious decision to respond in infernal, and I'll turn and look to the left, like you said, but I don't say anything just yet. What do we see when we turn?
As soon as I see you turn, all you really see is like kind of a reflection. If you look at if like the moon passes over like a dark pool, it's just like a flash in darkness. And you see like just the back of someone, and you see me like a long like inky black cloak like start to walk away and then around a corner.
Okay. Yeah, I turn to Amira and then Giant, just say, "We have no one else. This is." I say we follow it.
She kind of scowls and she looks at you and kind of takes a measure like, all right, you're not going to be able to hold up if there's a fight anyway. And she says to the kind of empty, or says to the alleyway like, all right, but it better not be a trap, because if it's a trap, I will kill you so hard. And then she follows.
Yep. I kind of like look around, make sure that no one has been watching us from the other, from the entry of the street where we entered. And then once I see that it's like safe, I'll definitely continue follow along.
Okay. Make a perception check.
All right. These are always great. 21. They're always great.
Nice. Okay. All right.
I don't have disadvantage because when I died, I lost all my exhaustions, right?
Yeah. Yes. Sure.
Sure.
Dying completely like that. I think we'll let
So,
you clear your exhaustion.
Berg and
You came
Ramus
back.
just
You
need to
got some
kill
juice.
each other, and then you guys are great. You'll just lose your exhaustions. It'll be great.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
So you see there is like a disturbance in the crowd, right? You know that thing that happens when like not right in front of you, but somewhere past a bunch of other people, someone is shoving through the crowd. So that's happening. Someone is like, you hear people be like, hey, what? And like getting pushed as they come. But you cross the street and you follow this shadow away from that whatever it is heading this way.
Yep.
So you follow this shadow. Now, are you leading them like across the street into another alley? Like where are they being led here?
I sent you a message in Skype. There's something I kind of want to do. Okay,
Yep.
good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep. So I will just be listening, and once they're close enough, I'll do the thing.
Okay. All right. So Maharib and Amira, you like dash across the street into another alley and follow the edge of this cloak, and it seems like it's always just slightly ahead of you, right? We see it dip around a corner. You follow. You come around the corner. We see it like duck into a doorway. You open the door and rush through the abandoned hall on the other side, and you come out into a courtyard. It's old. It's dusty. There was an iron gate that was kind of half-heartedly holding it shut, and Amira pushes it open to follow this cloak, this edge of a shadow cloak as you come in, and then she comes out and there's no one around. It's just like an empty kind of end of the alley, and and so the two of you walk out into this thing, and she turns around and she's like, what the hell? And that's when you hear someone behind you. You turn, and what do they see behind them?
They see when you turn around, you see about 5 feet tall, really slender, like a mix between like violet and gray skin, long silky black hair, maybe some braids here and there. Tiefling, definitely, with an inky black cloak. You see very nice clothing. Looks a little bit like religious regalia. It has some symbolism on it. With like red and black, like you can see like there's little like red maybe not sequins, but whatever they put into the fabric that makes it like sparkle.
Mm-hmm.
And she's has her arms crossed and is looking at you. And she says, I hope you forgive my little ruse. I had to make sure you weren't followed. This meeting has to remain clandestine. I have a reputation to keep. I'm sure you understand.
And we cut back to Maharib and Amira, and Amira is holding her sword. She's holding this big sword out at you. Like she's surprised and she's pointing the sword at you. And she's standing. What's funny is because she's much smaller than Maharib, much shorter, even with the horns. But she's standing like she's gonna protect him, like she's in front of him, like a little dog. And so she's just like holds it out. She's got her sharp teeth, kind of growling at you a little bit. And and so Maharib, you see her just be like turn around and point the sword at this. I'm gonna try really hard not to imagine your character as being like a hot demon nun, but it might be too late for me not to. Like I think.
Imagine away, buddy.
Listen, I try to think about other things, but I got a bad habit, man. So she's you see Amira pointing the sword. Maharib, you're behind her. What do you say, Maharib, to this stranger?
Feeling very confident with Amira having the sword drawn. I just cross my arms and kind of puff out my chest. And you have moments before we decide to do something about this. Speak what you want.
I assure you, there's no need for all the bravado. I'm here to help you. We have a similar goal. My name, I'm sure if you asked around, you'd hear it, is Unfailing Redeemer of Broken Promises. But most people just call me Broken Promises for short. I am in the business of gathering information and seeing that debts are paid. I am in the service of he whose name. I'm sure you've heard that before. You've been here long enough, yes?
So when you say that, Maharib, I mean, I don't think any of that means anything to you.
It
'cause
doesn't.
You're new
yeah,
in town.
I kind of turn to see if it's meaning anything to Amira.
The tip of the sword that Amir has pointed at you has dipped towards the ground, probably in equal parts because it's a much bigger sword than someone with a small frame like hers can wield, but also because she's distracted and she's starting to think. You can see her thinking. She's rolling these names over in her head, and you can see her kind of putting some stuff together. What do you say? What do you say to her, Maharib? She's like daydreaming, basically. She's like, you can see her racking her memory.
Yeah, I'll turn. That all check out? It sounds like he's from this area. He's acting really stupid because he doesn't know how to.
You're like, this seems like good. She's like, I don't know her, but that name, that's one of the Mara.
Well,
Control of
maybe
Basilica.
you've heard who I worked more directly with. You've heard the name Neil before? That's his short name. His long name is...
She nods, and she says, Deacon of Blood, I know of him. That's She turns as if to explain to Maharib. The deacon is the one that's in charge of that place where we woke up. They're one of the factions that... So you... She turns back and she says, so you work for the Mara. So then, why are you helping us?
Well, whether you like it or not, everyone works for Mara eventually. If you follow the line down, but what I want from you is very simple. I tire of this place. I wish to go where he's from.
So both, you're looking at Maharib, she turns, the camera turns to Maharib. What's Maharib's reaction to that?
I think he just starts to like smile. Maybe like the first positive moment that you've seen on Maharib's face this entire time is that this moment. And you just, well, I suppose we have an ally then. Do you know where it is that I'm from?
Not
I assume you're
precisely.
talking Yeah, broken promises. Yeah.
Not precisely. But I know of it. Tales and stories, I'm sure. Much like you've heard of where we come from, or where the Mara come from. Very similar, I'd imagine. But I feel a calling, a pulling, a purpose, if you will. Something that wants me to go there. And my reasons, more than that, will remain my own for the time being. All you need to know is I can help you. Does that sound agreeable to you?
So Amira just puts her hand up. She's like, if you'll excuse us for a half second, lady. She turns around and in Giant,
I love her.
in Giant, she says to Maharib, she's like, so, you look like you could get knocked down by a sneeze. And frankly, I'm not really willing to risk my own life again today. One way or another, we end up back in that basilica. So maybe we don't have a choice except to follow this person. But unless you have another plan, having just woken up and, you know, seeming to be full of fire or whatever. And besides, we can just ditch her later, right? We don't. And when she says that, from your point of view, you broken promises, you hear her like making this weird grumbling language. She says something and then very like unsubtly does this. And then turns around and goes back to talking. Like she looks at you like, you're not listening to us. You didn't understand what I just said, did you? All right then. And goes back to talking to yeah. So Maharib?
Yeah, I still arms crossed. Of course we follow her. We have no other leads. Perhaps she's even heard of where the others are.
That's a good point. All right. Don't say anything. Let me negotiate. She turns around and you see her change her body language. Like she sticks her chest out a little bit and kind of like sneers a little. And again, she's still in this like funereal, like hospital outfit. And so she turns to you, broken promises, and says, all right, lady, we'll do what you say. And in exchange, you can come with us when we go back to wherever big guy here is from. But you have to help us with something first. We're not
Making
the only
demands,
ones.
are we? It seems I'm holding all the cards. You are alone
Jokes.
and on your own.
She says, joke's on you. I don't play cards.
Very well. What are your terms?
There are two others. And if you know as much as it sounds like you know, you already know who I'm talking about. We need to find them. Then, all of us need to find a way out of here. And I guess you can come along.
So I assume you're the leader. Is that correct? And I look directly at Maharib. Is that correct?
Hold on, I gotta make a deception check.
Ooh, a 9. Great.
Make an insight check there, Broken Promises.
You betcha. Inside. There we go. Boop. 14.
She nods and she says, "Yeah, that's right. I'm in charge, so you better listen to me." And if you look over at Maharib, she's like, no, over here. Look at me. I'm the boss."
Very well, boss. But a couple of ground rules that I must lay down. First of all, your big mouth is going to get you in trouble, so I suggest you shut it and open your ears instead, because this requires a little bit of subtlety. Something tells me you're not well versed.
What? Shut up. I'm subtle. We're both very subtle. Don't look at us. Do we look like we're not subtle to you? I can do subtle.
I unfold my arms and put my arm on her shoulder and Giant just say, "Just stop."
She kind of like
You don't even have to. I don't even have to speak the language. I know what that was.
yeah. So she just kind of like hunches her shoulders a little and like bares her fangs at you. Promises and just kind of is like. "Arr." She looks like a dog whose leash has just been yanked on. So she's just like. "Arr." Fine.
All right. First order of business is get you out of these clothes and into something a little more fitting. Maybe a bath and some sort of perfume, perhaps a lot of perfume. I know of a place. I have a place you can rest and recoup your strength. I'm sure I haven't died in a long time, but if I remember correctly, it isn't very fun and quite fatiguing. So, if you would follow me and remember, what's the watchword? And I'm like looking directly at Amira.
She just mumbles something. You catch the word snooty bitch in there somewhere. But...
Perfect. And I attempt to lead them like through alleyways and stay off main thoroughfares until we get to a safe house.
Cool. Okay. All right. I don't think you have to roll for that. You know this
Okay.
this city pretty damn well, and moving without that is pretty easy. Okay. So you head to one of your safe houses, Berg and Ramus. We cut back to you,
What a good
and
sleep,
we see.
Ramus. Oh god, that exhaustion sucked, didn't it?
I think we see the two of you in. We see you're in the like the main room of Miss Tippett's, and you have food and drink in front of you, and Miss Tippett is like she's brought it to you like personally, so she's like setting down plates and cups with that strange like greenish black wine that they drink here, and she's saying to you, Ramus, she's saying, "Oh dear, that sounds just terrible. You'll have to tell me all about it." And you get the impression that she's like, "I'm being nice to you because you have information that I want. You'll have to tell me all about it later." She says, "You've really upset the Divine Comedy. If it weren't for the truce and all the neutrality I put so much time and energy into building around here, you'd be dead. And I could earn a pretty penny or two by turning you over. You're just lucky I'm loyal to my friends." And she turns, and Berg, she gives your cheek a little pinch. She says, "Now you boys eat up, and whenever you feel ready, come and talk to me. I'll be in my office." And she turns around and walks off.
Why does she always have to pinch me? Yeah.
I don't know. People do that to babies all the time too. I don't get it. I don't see the like why that's so cool to do.
Maybe she had a child. I remind her of it. I don't know.
You remind me of my baby. He was also 8 feet tall and dumb as a brick. So you have peace to eat, and do you want to try to go and rest before you go talk to Miss Tippett?
Yeah, I think like we want to go talk to her, but like the bed's just calling to us. We're so tired. Like I guess we could try to go upstairs and sleep.
And even outside of RP, as a player, I see that I have 14 AC and very low HP. So
It's true.
yes,
It's
I would like to sleep.
Because your shit got blasted. All right, so you the two of you head up to your room, and I think that as you go, you walk past the open door to Miss Tippett's office, and there's someone else in her office. We see just the back of a man who is wearing a long like leather coat with brass buttons on the wrist, and he reaches up and he's taking off a top hat and setting it on her desk, and she's in the midst of saying kind of quietly as you walk by, she's saying, "Not that it's not lovely to see you again, dear, but we have some important business we need to talk about. I have some guests you might be interested in. Get the door, would you?" And we just see one of his highly polished black boots just kick the door shut behind him. And when the door clicks shut, that's when we'll take our first break, I think.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Who's she talking to?
I don't know. I know we haven't seen this guy before.
Oh,
Uh-oh. Cliffhanger. Let's take a break. I'm going to go back on Tornado Watch. Because there's
Don't get hit
more
by a
coming.
tornado.
It's exciting times over here. I got through some episodes with kidney stones. This is another level of stress completely. And there's just sirens going off nonstop as you're playing. So
that reminds me of growing up in the Midwest. Welcome to the Midwest, JP.
yeah, I know this is great. I'm glad to be here. Really, it's fun. We're gonna take a break. We'll come back and do 2 more hours of Court of Swords right after this. We'll see you guys after the break. Be right back.